moving forward, the things that you're focused on are having a reopening of the case,
Yes.
independent investigation, especially with those gaps that are apparent by the first wave of, I'll say, case handling. Of course, some of the bigger picture pieces for making sure that what has taken place with you obviously does not happen with somebody else, because if so, it sets a very dangerous precedent. So it's not just looking for you. You are using your experience to say, look, we don't want what has happened to us to happen to somebody else, because if this kind of goes by the wayside, it is setting a very dangerous precedent where the outcome, as challenging as the outcome, I'll say initially is, we all can agree the outcome could have been far worse. And so, for the potential of something far worse happening, these are the things that you are calling for. President Paul, in addition to what's been stated, what are things that you are acting on and calling for related to what has been described and explained here?
Yeah, sure. First thing, I'm gonna give a few action items for the community that they can do to help get involved. And then what I'll do, I'll follow that up with a rebuttal to the state attorney general saying they don't have jurisdiction to get involved. I'm gonna read the email I sent them verbatim about their jurisdiction to get involved. So the first thing is we're asking for people to contact the governor. He does not have a email address, but you can use his mailing address, which is 206 Washington Street, like the president, Suite 203. And then you can put a comma behind Suite 203 and say state capital. And that's in Atlanta, Georgia, 30334. So that's 206 Washington Street, Suite 203, comma, state capital. And then you can put Atlanta, Georgia, 30334. Please mail him a letter asking for independent investigation of the Jalen Evans Jones case. Because again, she was not treated like a victim. We feel like the Georgia law has a bill called the Victims Bill of Rights, where victims are supposed to be consulted and followed up with throughout the case, as Mr. and Mrs. Jones laid out. They had to reach out to the DA's office, not the other way around. The local DA, Patsy Austin-Gatson, never treated them like the victim. So in our opinion, her victim bill of rights were violated. And that's why independent investigation needs to be done, not only on this particular case, but on the local district attorney and her office and how they handled the case. And so for the attorney general, his email is agcarr. So it's A as in alpha, G as in golf, and then carr, CARR, at law.ga.gov. Again, it's agcarr at law.ga.gov. Now, of course, the attorney general is going to try to say that he does not have any jurisdiction. At least that's, we've been getting a lot of that lately about different complaints, not only with this one, but also the Lewis twins, and also a complaint we had out against GCPS violation of the Open Meetings Act. So since we're on this particular case, I'll talk about his jurisdiction in this case. So let me pull up my additional email to them and read it verbatim. And they did email us back after several emails to them requesting that they get involved. They waited to the day of the press conference this past Friday to finally email us back. So I'm just going to read my response back to them after they tried to say that they could not get involved or didn't have any jurisdiction. So under OCGA 45, shall I say, -15-10. Again, that's OCGA 45-15-10. The Attorney General is granted the authority to institute and prosecute appropriate legal proceedings on behalf of the state in any matter affecting the general public interest, when directed by the governor or when the public interest requires. This includes matters involving potential misconduct by public officials or a miscarriage of justice within the state judicial system. Moreover, OCGA 15-18-6 establishes that district attorneys are subject to removal for willful misconduct, and the Attorney General may assist in or investigate such matters when warranted. We believe the documented behavior of the District Attorney's Office towards Mrs. Jalen Evans Jones, including the failure to treat her as a victim, deny her protections outlined in the Crime Victims Bill of Rights, which is OCGA 17-17-1, raises substantial concerns that merit your office's attention. Finally, the Georgia Constitution authorizes the Attorney General to provide oversight when local law enforcement or prosecutorial discretion appears to have been abused in ways that erode public trust. Given these provisions, we respectfully request your office reconsider its position. And so our request was for them to open a preliminary inquiry into potential misconduct in handling of this case, formally refer the matter to Prosecuting Attorneys Qualifications Commission, or facilitate a review by the governor under the constitutional authority. So those are the legal ways that the AG's office has to get involved in this case. And we feel like, once again, as I stated before, Mrs. Jones, crime victim Bill of Rights, they were violated. She was never treated like the victim. Everybody treated her like the victim, from the local law enforcement to the Solicitor General. It just, until the case got into the hands of the district attorney, it was sat on for almost 2 years or a year and a half. And then it was just dismissed, and there was never any communication to them why I was getting dismissed until after the fact. That should have been some type of consultation as part of that Crime Victim Bill of Rights Act. That should have been part of that conversation. And my whole thing is, either these laws mean something or they don't. I think it's a bad precedent for somebody, as I stated in our press conference on Friday, that's wanting our vote for governor. When you're not enforcing the law as an attorney general, how can we trust that you're going to be, you want more power, you want to be the top person in the entire state, now you want to be the executive of this entire state, when you're not executing your power as attorney general to protect citizens from incidents like this, from protecting precedent, from not only being precedent in Gwinnett County, but being a precedent throughout the state, where people can just fire their weapon through a closed door and just say, hey, I fear for my life. Or I think I looked at the peephole, and I looked at my rain door camera, and I think I saw a gun, it appeared to be a gun. So I just started shooting. Again, this is not the wild, wild west. We're supposed to be a nation of laws. Republican Party as a whole pride themselves on enforcing the law and law and order. Well, now it's time for two Republican, both for governor and attorney general, to live up to that billing.